No position in American sports feels the pressure or the weight on their shoulders like a quarterback. Hopes and dreams of an entire fan base of teams ride on whether their signal caller can lead them to glory. And boy, what a matchup of two elite dudes we have in this one. Welcome, everyone, to the shores of the Tennessee River, Neyland Stadium, home of the Volunteers. As we'll see the number 21 team in the country, the Texas Longhorns, taking on the 16th ranked team in the land, the Tennessee Volunteers. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. The Longhorns will kick it off to get us underway. The returner will field it and try to do some business. Excellent job by the kick coverage team. A pretty minimal gain on that return. So the Tennessee Volunteers offense will have the football first. They got an incredibly efficient performance from this guy last time out. Now, Jesse, it's about making that a consistent thing.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing watching that tape back from his last game was the ball never touched the ground, David. It was amazing. And it wasn't that he was so accurate throwing the ball deep down the field. It's just that the ball was always going to the open guy. He did a really good job checking it down, taking the profit when it wasn't open downfield. That kept the offense on schedule. That's really important for this offense today.
And when you're watching it as a defensive player and coming to this football game, man, you know this is going to be a challenge. I better get pressure on this guy. If I let him feel comfortable, you'll see another day like last week. I mean, that dude was accurate. Almost every ball was caught. They were in rhythm. They're going to have to find some creative ways to get him off his spots and make him feel uncomfortable.
The Longhorns offense will go to work for the first time today. And the story is going to be in this one. Will this quarterback be able to operate before that big fella on the defensive front gets right in his grill, Jesse?
And listen, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but he better play with the clock in his head in this one. He's not going to have a lot.
Racing to the right. He's at the... And he got away from the defense and takes it in. Touchdown, Longhorns!
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
Getting ready for the extra point after the first score of the game. And with the extra point, they get the first 7 of the game. That drive not too taxing on the playbook. One play, put it in the end zone just like that. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So here is the Tennessee offense. Finding themselves down 7-0, they'd love to get a drive going here. Firing to the right, complete. And they pick up just a few on that completion. And the Volunteers want to crank the tempo. Find some fresh air. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
Yeah, and it's a nice job by this defense. Understanding, listen, that QB is a threat. And they're going to run all kinds of options, and he's going to run the football. They were dialed in and got that sucker to the ground.
Let's see what call they have on 3rd and long from the 28. From the gun, wants to pass. He'll off one deep down the left side. He's got it on the outside. The Volunteers will snap it on 1st and 10.
And this defense is going to have their hands full because they're going to need to be comfortable with guys one-on-one on islands in the perimeter of the field. And they're just going to have to make better plays than what we saw right there. They knew this offense was going to try to be aggressive. Got to need better effort in the back end for this defense.
He'll pull it on the read. Breaks into the open. He's all the
makes this offense so dynamic, it's his running ability, and I love them going option here. He's hoping the defense is going to give him a look that forces him to keep the football, and how about his ability in the open field, generating a massive explosive play on that option run.
The Vols trying to get a touchdown on 1st and goal. He'll set up to throw. And down goes the quarterback. There are penalty flags down, but it looks as if this might be on the offense. So the penalty will not be enforced. The defense declines and stands on the result of the play. Back to pass on 2nd down. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. They get it down to the 7 on that pass play, in prime position for a score. Now 3rd and goal, and tough yardage to cover here. They'll run play action. Rushes on him. And the pressure was too much. They get him at the 15.
All right, interesting decision for you now. How confident are you in your offense? You got a big 4th down. It is early in the game. Do you feel like your guys can go out and generate a touchdown, or do you want to play it safe and kick the field goal?
It's wise not to be too greedy, and they'll go ahead and send out the field goal unit. Absolutely center cut. That'll bring him to within 4. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Fellas, it's gone final in a huge top 25 showdown. Here's how it went down. Auburn escaped with the victory, and I say escaped. Look, in college football, teams will take any win, but I think those Tigers fans there today could have done without this one being so close. Each week in college football, the tests are just so tough, and we found that out again today, guys, with another ranked team going down.
Kevin, turning it on! He'll be stopped at the 27, but picks up 10 on that one. They'll put it in play from the 27, 1st down. Here's a quick throw out to the left. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down, he'll throw it. Zings it complete to the right. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line. They're going back to the ground. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming. Kept it on the ground on 1st down, now back to the line. Wants to fire on 2nd down. Hauls it in. At the 35, he's loose. And they got the defense on that one, and they get it to the 29-yard line.
Get the big-time receiver involved early in the game. That's a huge key for this offense, no matter who they're playing against. But you can see, with his size, with his ability after the catch, this guy is a weapon, and he's putting this defense on alert early.
The RPO, fire complete to the left. He's brought down, but he went backwards after that completion, not the way they had it drawn up. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. Quickly complete. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short game there. The noise reverberating off the checkerboards and kneeling on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. Throws toward the end zone. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. And now on 4th down, they'll try a field goal. This whole place going to see if this kicker can operate in the sea of noise. Splits the uprights. Good. There is a flag on the play. Now, this is on the defense. It might not change that much. Offense has already made the long field goal. Might be the worst-case scenario for this defense. Thought they'd held them to 3. Now the offense with a chance for more. Quick release by the QB. They'll spot the ball at the 12 after that completion. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. Fires complete to the right. He's there to make the stop, and they threw it in reverse, losing yardage on that play. Wants to throw again. Pressure coming. Touchdown, Texas! Snagged in the end zone to give them 6.
And that's what I love about empty sets and formations on offense, is that when you spread the defense out, you create bigger lanes to throw into. You saw it right there.
Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Tennessee ready to go to work the Big Orange offense on the field. They might be feeling a little heat here as they've fallen into a 14-3 hole early. He makes the grab. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is. A solid gain on that one, and it goes for naught as the penalty will back them up. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9.
And they've been waiting for something good to happen with respect to getting after the quarterback, right? They're outside of the top 100 in the country in sacks per game, but finally now you see they're generating this pass rush. 3 sacks on the game so far.
And the Vols have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. They'll give it to the back. Look out, he's got room! And they're able to make the tackle. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Not exactly the ideal situation for this offense. 3rd and long, backed up inside their 20. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. And they can't make the connection on 3rd down, but hold everything. There is a flag. Let's see what that's about. They'll decline the penalty here and let the result of that play stand. And the Volunteers decide to punt it away. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. A fair catch taken just inside the 40-yard line. Offense working from the pistol. Going to the ground. And he's able to shed 1 tackle and pick up pretty good yardage. The Longhorns with myriad options after that big pickup on 1st down. Oh, he's got a chance. Nice move to keep running. Taken out of bounds after a good pickup there. They're in striking distance at the 37. Out of the gun, they'll run it inside. Some hard running there, but just too many defenders as he stopped for a loss. Lost 1 on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Just a short pass to the tight end. All the way down to the 25-yard line. They move the sticks. It's 1st down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And the Longhorns look to keep this drive humming. Gives it to the back on the draw. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Didn't get much on 1st down. It's 2nd and 9. Motion from the wide receiver. Red pass, it's complete. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. Neyland Stadium alive. A cauldron of orange noise on 3rd down. Safe completion on the screen. That will be enough to move the chains and give them a first down in the red zone at the 14. And the Longhorns come to the line with a new set of downs. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Wide receiver comes in motion. They'll run it out of the shotgun. He's brought down at the 6, but the defense feeling the heat to make a stop here. The terrain gets rough this deep in the red zone. Third down, they can't pick up the first without scoring. To the ground to try to move the chains. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short. Now on fourth down, they'll try to come away with 3. This crowd trying to do its part to get inside the kicker's head. No good. After the miss, still an 11-point game, guys.
And that's frustrating. I mean, you put a drive together, you're in scoring zone. Like, this is a green zone. You should be making all of these kicks, these short field goals, the chip shots. Kickers have to come through. They got to do their job.
A quick pass to the left. And after the tackle, that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead, and they were able to build that lead into double figures. Let's take a quick look at our early stats before we move on. This could be a pivotal moment in this game as we open the second period and they try to find a way to answer. Had a chance to talk it over during the break, and they'll start with second down. Back to pass. Using the quick game. He finds enough room to get it up to the 28-yard line before going out of bounds. On third and short, they're giving it to the tight end. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see which way that's going to go. A costly penalty wipes out that third down conversion, and now they'll back up and try it again. The give to the tailback. Breaks the tackle. Absolutely nowhere to go as this defense makes a third down stop. The Volunteers will line up to punt it away. Wants to return it. Looking everywhere for room to run, but really good coverage, and he'll step out of bounds. Off play action on first down. Fires to the big fella. There's not a lot more beautiful in football than the play action and the open tight end.
Because it freezes those linebackers, it freezes those safeties because they have to come up for a second and play the run, and then the big tight ends, big targets on the back end can catch the football and make big plays.
They'll line up right at the 48-yard line on first and 10. The hand to the running back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Got stuffed on first down. It's second and 10. Trying play action. Got his man quickly. They get him on the ground at the 37, but give him 15 yards on that chunk play, and they'll move the chains. Looking downfield on first down. Fires to the tight end.
And that's why play action is going to be big in this game. You saw how it just freeze the second level of that defense just for a second and allow the tight end to work himself vertically down the field. But how about this guy after the catch, right? So hard to bring down. What a weapon.
They'll give him one to the 28-yard line. If they don't pick up this third down, let's see if they trust their field goal kicker after the miss on the last drive. They'll try to run for it. Knocked down in the backfield, and that'll bring up fourth down. Here comes the field goal unit. This whole place going to see if this kicker can operate in the sea of noise. He splits the uprights and puts 3 on the board. And they'll push that lead out a little further. After putting 3 on the board, the kickoff unit ready to go. On the run from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Off the play fake on first down. Here's the pressure. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9.
Well, I think one of the biggest reasons why this team is finding themselves in a hole here in the first half is this has been a sack party. They can't keep the defense off of their quarterback. They haven't been able to get the ball deep down the field, throwing it with the consistency they want because they can't keep their quarterback standing up straight.
This pass rush has just been relentless, and you can bet your bottom dollar they're about to bring the heat again. From the gun, the ground game. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. Oh, they're after him. Oh, he dropped it. He had the pick in his hands and a chance for one of his patented big plays, and he couldn't hang on. It'll be 4th down. So from his own end zone, the punt is away. Makes the grab close to the logo, and the returner will be knocked down. And here come the horns. They've got it again on offense. They've got the lead here. Last time they settled for a field goal, but David got to find that balance between being aggressive and careful.
Man, I think they'll take it. I got the lead, Palmer. I got the football. I got to take care of the football, put a nice drive together, and just get some kind of points on this drive.
No doubt. Lots to be happy about right now if you're this team. I think for this one, though, on this drive, it's about finding the one-on-one matchups that are in your favor and then exploiting.
The noise reverberating off the checkerboards in Neyland on 3rd down. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. There he goes. Just across the 20 with a 1st down at the 19. The Longhorns come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Floats it out in space. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Now the play fake. Makes the catch. They'll spot the ball at the 12 after that completion. This crowd knows when to bring it. In the gun, looking to throw on 3rd down. Complete and looking for enough for the 1st down. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one. Kick is good. The offense has 3 points to show for the drive. And that will extend their lead even further. That lead just keeps getting fatter, and this kickoff team doing a little running. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. The Volunteer offense is back, and they hope it's touchdown time in Tennessee. After giving up that score, now it's incumbent on this offense to kind of get it back, and he's loose on the left. And the defense was on its heels after that long completion. The Vols want to move quickly. Another big play on the outside, and that's the thing that historically has gotten Rocky Top rolling.
Yeah, so much fun to watch playmakers outside that they can run by you and go make big plays. Opens up the whole field, the whole offense, and this Orange fan base goes absolutely bananas.
Defense came into this one knowing they were going to see some tempo. They've got to get the call from the sidelines, get it communicated, get lined up.
Gets it inside the 25, down to the 22-yard line with the pickup of 4. Complete on 3rd down. The chains will move, and they'll have 1st and 10 from inside the red zone at the 18. Trying to cap this drive with the pass. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on 1st down. 2nd down coming. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Wants to go up top. And the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hip. His drive was clicking along, but after a couple of misfires, threatening to stall out on 3rd and 10. From the gun, wants to pass. Going for it all. And it's incomplete as he tried to thread that needle to the back corner of the end zone. And here comes the field goal unit. And he'll try to make it 2 for 2, this time from 35 yards away. Dead center perfect. That'll close the gap to 14. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Guys, your game is a big one, but so is this battle right now inside the Mountain West. Wyoming needs to pick up the pace, but this puppy is far from over. And with that crowd there in Laramie behind them, I'm kind of banking on a comeback. They're trailing by 10 to New Mexico. The moment something changes in this Mountain West fight, you will hear about it here. Back to you guys.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. This is a great way to control tempo, control the game, feeding the tight end, and they've done it beautifully here in the first half.
You find great matchups, Reese. I mean, you think about it. He's too good to be covered by linebackers. You like your matchup versus a safety, so zone or man, whatever you want to do, I'm going to find the big fella because he's going to be open most of the time.
The Longhorns come to the line on 3rd down, trying to keep this drive alive. They'll stick to the ground, looking for the marker. They got 0 push up front, and they stopped him in the backfield. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. The Longhorns will call on their punt team. This will be their first punt of the afternoon. That's usually prime return position, but he'll make the fair catch just outside the 40. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Intercepted. Big play stops the drive. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception. Down to 2 minutes before the half, and they'll take the timeout and see if they can add a little more before the break. They'll start this drive going to the air. Got the quick pass. Makes the grab almost to the 1st down marker, but a good pickup on that one. And the Longhorns with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. It's complete along the sidelines. It's a catch inbounds, and it's a 1st down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Quick release on the RPO. They make the stop, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's all about. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Looking to throw. Bringing the heat. Man, did he pay for it with that hit as he got rid of the ball. And here comes the offense on 2nd down. Motion from the wideout. Right on the money. Oh, he's got some space. Touchdown, Longhorns! He got loose, and it was lights out after that. They've extended the lead and taken control here in Week 9.
And this receiver is on fire. He's got all the skills that you look for in a big-time target. And that's already his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And they did tack on the extra point, by the way, knocked it right down the middle. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. And they finish things off with a scoring toss from the 33. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Plenty of time to work, not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. They'll run the RPO and throw it right. And that corner came in hot despite knowing that he was giving up some size. They'll go up top on 2nd and short. And it'll be incomplete. This is some physical pass defense. And the Vols are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. Quarterback on the keeper. fumble. Defense covering it up and not letting the offense get it back. It's a turnover. He pulled it and kept it on the option, but he couldn't keep it away from the defense.
I think the QB made the right decision not to pitch it. He needs to do a better job with ball security. The defense, they were able to get and swarm to him quickly and dislodge the football from his body.
Here we go. They'll try to get something on the board here in the final minute of the first half. Looking to throw on first down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down.
Well, this offense has gone his way early and often in this game. They've gotten into a nice rhythm. That time, though, the defense was expecting the throw going his way. They put a really nice hit on him to force the incompletion.
Backed up now. Here's second and long. Looking to go up top, and time's running out in the half. Time running out, and he goes down at the 34.
That is exactly what this defense needed. They have not had a great first half, given up a bunch of touchdowns, but this might get them started. This might get the energy going and maybe rattle the quarterback a little bit with that sack.
Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play called and everyone on the same page here. Wide receiver going in motion. On third and long, he has to throw for it. It's complete to the left. We've got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Now on fourth down, here comes the field goal team. And they'll kick it from the left side, a 44-yard try. It is true as he puts 3 on the board. And that lead grows even bigger.
Well, sudden change situation. You got to give this defense credit. Their offense just turned it over. They held tight. They didn't allow a touchdown. They forced their opponent to kick a field goal. But nice job.
Set to kick this one away.
Here he comes from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. We'll see them really hit the speed button on the tempo here in the final minute of the first half. They're working that left side. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. They'll go to work in the air on second down. A strike downfield. They'll knock him down, and that'll take us to halftime. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin in our halftime update.
Guys, you've been calling a great one today in Knoxville so far. And this linebacker has left his big old paw prints all over this first half. He's been clogging running lanes and forcing turnovers, and even when he's not doing something that shows up on the stat sheet, he's preventing that offense from doing so. A young man with all-American potential. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas amidst the smoggy smoke there in Rocky Top.
And the Volunteers will line up to kick off and start the second half. On the move from inside his 5. And good work by the coverage team to knock down the return man. So Texas has it again, and here comes the offense. They'll start this third quarter with a run. Got enough for the first. At the 45 on his way. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the first down.
And obviously this offense has had their way, getting the huge lead. And now, when you know it's a running situation later in the ball games, you're still getting pounded. This defense has to step up at some point and be a lot more physical.
D coordinators down the road that have to play this offense, man, they're going to have nightmares because this unit has so much speed, so much skill. At running back, receiver, tight end, a quarterback making good decisions, it is so tough trying to stop them and prevent explosive plays.
And he won't quite get there, but boy, after that pickup, just a few inches to go for the first, an array of possibilities here. He'll keep it on the sneak. Hauled down, but they'll move the sticks as he picks up the first down. And the Longhorns are flying down the field. And off from the shotgun. Good pickup on that play. It'll bring up 2nd and 4. Stuck with a running game on first down. Now here they come again. Unloads quickly. Breaks into the open. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down. The Longhorns come to the line with a new set of downs. Finds his tight end. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Longhorns pounded the rock to move the sticks, now back to work. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. And he's loose, and he'll take it to the house. Touchdown, Texas! Precision blocking up front created the open lane, and the running back followed it beautifully.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow an offensive line that makes those holes and just gives you a caravan all the way to the end zone. What an unbelievable job blocking up front.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the point after is good. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Fellas, take a peek at what's happening in this interesting battle in the MAC. Eastern Michigan is down big on the scoreboard, and for a program that traditionally struggles to score, I think we know where this one is headed. They're trailing by 24 to Buffalo. The Maction never sleeps, and we'll circle back if anything big happens you should know about.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. To the air on 2nd down. Looking to take a shot. And a big play on the outside. What a job to keep those feet in bounds and get the completion. We've got a timeout here as this coach is challenging the call. He wants to give the replay booth a chance to have another look. And how about the keen eyes and sharp awareness from the coach to challenge that call, and the officials agree it'll go his way. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Makes the grab. They'll make the stop about 3 yards short of the first down. The Volunteers will send out the punt unit. They've been busy out there to punt for the 5th time today. Fields the punt. Wants to make a play. He couldn't find much running room there. Didn't get a lot of blocking, and he'll step out of bounds. Here comes the Texas offense. They've been dominant, and now they'll try to... Looking deep down the right side. Got it inside the 10. He's there to make the stop, but not before he sets up this offense 1st and goal from the 7.
I love when you back the defense off of you. If you want to get aggressive, I'll take shots down the field, make the defense play more conservative, and now what? Now you're in the red zone with a chance to get some points.
The Longhorns trying to cash it in on 1st and goal. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. He'll run it to the middle, looking for the end zone. And a decent gain there before the defense makes the stop. They want to fight this one in a phone booth. 3 tight ends on the field on 3rd and goal. Scores on the sneak. This dude is lighting it up for the Horns, and some old-school Horn fans starting to think about that 500-yard 4-touchdown day Vince Young had against Oklahoma State.
bringing back great memories, and there's been some good runs at quarterback. You think about Colt McCoy, too, man. He put up some serious numbers, some serious wins. Can this be the next guy to catapult this offense, to bring Texas back to prominence?
And they add the extra point to finish the drive.
Texas 44, Tennessee 6.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So here is the Tennessee offense. Last time they had it, didn't pick up a first down. Let's see if they can put something together here. Out of the gun, the running back has it. Turning it on! That one could really put this drive into high gear as they have a first down at the 37.
First down for the offense.
Wants to go up top on first down. Takes a hit as he fires. It's picked off, and another empty drive. He'll try to take it back.
And some defensive backs just have a way of finding the football, and he's starting to develop that. His third interception on the season, just has a good feel for playing that spot in the back end.
And the offense takes the field eager to go back to work. They're going to open this drive with a pass. He's got the back in the middle. He hauled that one in and got it down to the 15-yard line. On 1st and 10, trying to strike from the 15. Working that left side now. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring.
Second down.
Off the play fake. Fires into the end zone. Touchdown, Longhorns! Grabbed in the end zone to put 6 on the board.
Man, really nice job attacking the middle of the field. You see those safeties, man, I want to split them. He splits it right down the middle, throws that post right on the numbers, catches the ball in the end zone, touchdown.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead.
Extra point.
And he splits the uprights on the extra point. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Tennessee ready to go to work the Big Orange offense on the field. Mistakes are going to happen, as they did on that last drive. Now, how will they respond, Jesse?
And this is the kind of guy who's going to take full accountability. That was my bad. That's on me. I'm about to lead this offense now down the field and score some points.
Dang, Palmer, I wish I'd have played with you. I didn't play with many quarterbacks that were just like, yeah, my bad. Hey, guys, I got this. Sorry about that. It was more, you should have ran a better route.
Able to work it to the 39-yard line, and that'll be a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Quick completion to the right. At midfield, he's got room. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see if it stands. Well, when your quarterback has already been sacked 4 times, shouldn't be some big surprise if the O-line gets called for holding. Working the big fella to the corner. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks.
Yeah, I tell you what, these big-body tight ends that can catch the football in the corner routes, it doesn't have to be a perfect throw. You know, usually you got littler guys, it's hard. You got to put the ball more on the money, but this big dude can just go up and get it. You just throw it near the sidelines, he'll do the rest.
Wants to keep it in the air. Got a man, it's Clemens. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
That roughing call probably stems from frustration as this guy has cut them into pieces. The give to the running back from the shotgun. How much lingerie is this guy going to leave on the deck as he gets it down to the 25? The Vols can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Quickly out to the tight end. They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a first down. Offense now working in the red zone. They'll run the counter. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Last play didn't go well. It leaves him with 2nd and 11. Running back searching for a hole. They get him on the ground, but not before he drives it to the 10-yard line. Not a lot of ground to cover and not much to defend. A big 3rd down in the red zone. Grabbed in the middle. It's Clemens. And he'll take it in and house it. Touchdown, Volunteers! The AT unit on the field. Splits the uprights. So that's a 59-yard touchdown drive. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score.
Tennessee, 13.
He'll start the return inside his 5. And they'll bring him down to get the offense started on the next drive.
And the Texas offense will take over. 1st and 10.
They'll run the RPO and fire to the right. And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down.
2nd down coming up.
Looking to fire. Pocket breaking down. Not much of a chance there. He just had to get rid of it to avoid the sack. They couldn't make the connection on 2nd down. Now a 3rd and 7 to keep the drive alive. From the gun, wants to pass. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up. And the Longhorns will punt it away on 4th down. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Working his way on the return up to the 40-yard line before he stopped. They'll start this drive and snap it from the 40. Makes the catch. It's Clemens. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the 1st down. Let's see what they've got on 2nd down. Back to pass. Can't find a man, and he'll be knocked down at the 40.
And it's been a long day for this offense. If you can't protect your quarterback, it's hard to be successful. That's the 5th sack they have given up. The offensive coordinator has no answers, and this defense has been flying around.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. And the Vols line up to punt it away. They're up to a half-dozen kicks today. Might have thought he'd want to try to pick up a few yards there, but he's content with making the fair catch right around the 35-yard line. They'll move the wide receiver. They'll run it from the gun. You want to make sure to maximize those types of runs, and he gets it out to the 41. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead. And as we switch ends of the field, let's take a quick look at the national rankings. I guess if you're an optimist, the stage is set for a massive 4th quarter comeback. So the final period starts with a 2nd down play. From the gun, the running back has it. He's going to lose a yard on that one. And the Longhorns come to the line on 3rd and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. From the gun, he'll try to throw for it on 3rd down. He's got him. And they'll spot it at the 45. That's good enough for a 1st down. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Good timing on the quick out. They make the stop. Not a whole lot of ground picked up there, and they'll have work to do to get the 1st down. Leaves it with the running back. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. The Longhorns line up, trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. To the ground with the back. He breaks a tackle. Nice job to pick up the 1st down, and they'll spot it at the 42. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. They'll go to the ground. Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe, 2nd and 7. They're about to snap it for the 7th time on this drive. They'll run it behind the big guys on the left. Picks up the 1st down. There he goes. And he ran away from the crowd, and he'll take it in. Touchdown, Texas! They extend this lead, and it looks as if they are going to make it 2 wins in a row.
Points, points, and more points. This offense has had their way. They just keep their foot on the gas, keep putting up points, keep putting up touchdowns. And you know what? This is one of those stats days. You look back and you're like, that guy had 12 touchdowns in the year. Well, 4 or 5 of them might have been in this game.
And with the extra point, the lead is even bigger. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Hey, guys, just wanted to give you a quick update on a game happening in the Mountain West. Wyoming needs to pick up the pace, but this puppy is far from over. And with that crowd there in Laramie behind them, I'm kind of banking on a comeback. They're trailing by just 4 to New Mexico.
Wants to throw on 1st down.
Any change of momentum.
Makes the catch down the right side. And an explosive play has him on the move, and he gets it all the way to the 48-yard line. They were backed up, and then suddenly they weren't. They've got it 1st and 10 now inside the 50. He's in open space downfield. You'll take 4 yards on 1st down every time, 2nd and 6. Wants to go up top. Quick strike complete. Brought down at the 28. A chunk play. 15 yards on that one and a 1st down.
First down for the offense.
This is a designed run. Running into the open space.
Well, I don't know what the quarterback saw on that last play, but he made a pretty quick decision that he was just going to tuck it and run it, and his offensive coordinator is glad he did. How about the speed by the QB on that play?
And gang tackling on this dude is a good idea. They needed it, but he still got the 1st down. From the gun, the running back looking for room. He's stopped at the 14-yard line, and they'll stay on the attack from there. Going to work on 2nd down, and the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that 1st down. Got the back over the middle. They'll get it down to the 10-yard line on that completion. Tight quarters deep in the red zone, but they can pick up a 1st down without scoring. 3rd down. Lets it fly. Oh, and he dropped it. He had a touchdown right in his hands and couldn't hang on. It'll be 4th down. So here comes the field goal unit. They've been doing work today. They've already made a couple. Never a doubt. And the field goal is good. They get 3 on the board, but it really doesn't matter much in terms of the deficit.
And they cut into this lead a little bit, but man, it's still a huge deficit. And they're going to need their defense to get a stop in this 4th quarter and get them the ball back quickly, still down by a good bit of points.
Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And here comes the Texas offense back on the field. That running game was impressive, taking them right down for a touchdown last time, David.
Yeah, just mauling. No secret play calls, just simply we are more physical than you, and we're pounding the football right at you.
So if you're on offense this next drive, take a look at their safeties and see if they're creeping up into the box. Because of your success running the football, this might be time to take a shot down the field and play action.
They'll snap this one from the 30 on 1st and 10. The give to the back. Ran right through the defender, and now he's still running. Nice pickup on the ground there, and they'll move the sticks with the first down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Longhorns just got that huge run. They love another explosive play. Leaves it with the back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much on 1st down. It's 2nd and 9. Single back formation, and they give it to him. Oh, he's got some space. Made a defender miss. And he will finally go out of bounds after another big gain, and they are absolutely gashing them with this running game. Quick throw, but he's not going anywhere. The defense was all over it. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Longhorns trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Going to sling it on 2nd down. Quick completion on the out. Run out of bounds at about the 13-yard line, and that's where this offense will go back to work. Motion from the wide receiver. Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. Makes the grab along the sidelines, but it'll be a little short of the 1st down. And let's hold on just a minute here as the officials are going to have a second look. And the play will stand after the replay booth just does a little double checking to make sure. Wide receiver comes in motion. Leaves it with the back. Knocked down in the backfield, and boy, this guy's had a good day, but they finally get to him on that run. The terrain gets rough this deep in the red zone. 3rd down, they can pick up the first without scoring. Off play action. Knocked away, incomplete, and quarters get tight in the red zone. This kicker's leg is getting a workout. He's already made 3 field goals, and here he comes again. It's good. He could have hit a string right in the middle of the uprights there. And they just tack on a little more to this gargantuan lead. They're really starting to extend that lead as they get ready to kick it away again. Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. And the coverage team able to wrestle him down. The Volunteer offense is back, and they hope it's touchdown time in Tennessee. First play of the drive, wants to throw. It looks as if this game is going to be one to just drag to the recycle bin, but the idea now is to finish strong and just take whatever happens in the rankings next week. Motion from the wideout. The play action fake. Flips it out to the back.
Listen, running backs are not just running backs anymore. You're going to be a wide receiver in today's football. And a great job sneaking out of the backfield, getting them the football, letting them get some positive yards.
3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down. And the Volunteers will bring the punt team onto the field. On the move, looking for a little sliver of hope. He'll get it up to about the 44-yard line before they slam the brakes on it. Smart move to keep it on the ground.
And here's the mindset if you're on offense. 4th quarter, you've got a huge lead. Obviously, you're going to run the football, but just be aware of the clock. You don't want to snap it too quickly. You're probably just doing safe runs inside the tackles like you saw right there. You just got to execute. You got to be aware, but you've got this game in hand. So
breaks into the open. Big pickup on the ground into plus territory, and they get him out of bounds at the 41. Give to the back. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Tried to pound it on first down. Now back to the line. We've reached the 2-minute timeout, and the clock is definitely on their side. They'll just try to run it out here. Wide receiver going in motion. Boom. The pull and throw off the RPO. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker.
Third down coming.
Muscling ahead on 3rd and short. Ripping off a good chunk inside the 25, and they're set up with a first down. And the Longhorns kept this drive moving on the ground. Now back to work. They'll try the run. Got some room, headed to the goal line. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their total.
Pure domination all game long for this offense. Whether they've been running the football, whether they've been throwing the football, critical down and distances, situationally all up and down the field. This defense has had no answer for these guys. What an impressive performance by the O.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point was good. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead.
Tennessee, 16.
From inside his own 10, let's see what he gets. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. A lot of work to do as this drive will start from the 16-yard line. Fires to the tight end. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Still firing away as they'll go down swinging. Throws to the wideout. And it's picked off for the 3rd time today. The defense making a play to put an exclamation point on this one, and that ought to do it. Guys, I think we all expected this game to be close. Couple of teams of this caliber, but boy, what a statement by the underdog in this one.
And there's going to be a big movement in the rankings after that performance. That team that got the win today, they are going to get moved ahead of their opponent. It's one thing to beat a ranked opponent, David. It's one thing to blow the doors off of them. That was impressive.
It's impressive. It's huge for them. Obviously, we know what's going to happen when they're going to move up the charts, but the other side is equally as depressing. I mean, they're going to fall like a rock. This wasn't even a competitive game. This is a bad day, and the rankings will reflect it when they come out.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.